Hello, Manchester United fans. This week is a game against Leeds and then another game against Leeds. We got my esteemed colleague Conor here, who is a Leeds fan, to preview the game with us. So let's go. So, Conor, what do you think might happen?
Worried about this one. Worried about these two, to be honest. Obviously, Man United in insane form at the minute, Sam, unfortunately. It's painful at the minute, being a Leeds. I can't deny it. We're talking off air there, and it is two clubs at the polar opposite ends right now. And, Leeds, 2 wins in 17. You couldn't have asked for a worse week, We had Happy Valleys yesterday, great programme, set me up perfectly for the week. But then you look at the 2 fixtures and, I'm worried about this one just because Leeds can't defend. We concede in every single game, and I think Manchester United, with how good they are on the counter-attack, Rashford at the minute, Fernandes is finding form, isn't he? So it's not looking great for us. I mean, what are your thoughts? Are you looking at it and thinking this is a real opportunity for Man United to rack up some, not only points, but goals in these 2 games?
The big issue now with Man United in the table especially is the goal difference. They're joint third on points, but massively worse goal difference. And then it should be such an easy chance to rack up that goal difference, especially with given recent results under Bielsa.
Yeah.
It was 5 or 6 most of the time.
Yep.
It's like...
Well, that's it. I mean, this guy came in, Jesse Marsch, and the whole point of it was to ease the stress on the Leeds players and to make us a little bit more compact and defensively astute. It's gone the complete opposite way. We're conceding over 2 goals, 2.5 goals, I think it is, per game. And I think looking at it right now, Casemiro, we know is Manchester United are going to appeal it. Who knows? That's probably something separate to talk about. But I think this game's going to be won and lost in midfield, and I still think Man United's midfield with Fred, I don't know who's going to play, to be honest, you'll be able to help me a little bit on that, but Fred, Fernandes, whoever else, is going to be a little bit too strong for Leeds. But we have brought reinforcements in. Wesley McKennie's coming from Juventus. But the manager is the 2 best players who we wanted to see yesterday. Jorginho Rutu, we brought him 35 million. McKennie, we brought him 30 million.
35 million?
35 million. And they're still on the bench. Yeah. So the problem is Jesse Marsch, and we're not seeing enough right now to really give us that encouragement. So I'm a little bit worried about the balance going in ahead of Man United. And we know this is a massive rivalry. From the Leeds end, it's huge.
Exactly.
And how do you see it in terms of, do you see derbies as a different game? Do you think form goes out the window, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, big rivalries, it doesn't really matter. You turn up on the day and it's who's up for it more.
Yeah.
But this game will be won or lost in midfield. Casemiro's suspension's huge. He's been undroppable, basically.
Do you think they'll appeal that, or what do you reckon will happen?
Well, that's the thing about the appeal. If they appeal, they can add another game on if it doesn't get overturned, which would mean he misses the cup final.
Right, okay.
So it's unlikely to appeal, because it's 50-50 if it gets overturned.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't get overturned, he misses the cup final, and then they're instantly a worse class midfield against Newcastle.
And McTominay out's big for this one.
McTominay's also injured.
That's big,
which means you've basically got Fred, who plays defensive midfield. Sabitza's not a defensive midfielder. He's been signed as this box-to-box Eriksen replacement with the hope that Casemiro would be there next to him. But without Eriksen there, you've got no McTominay to sit back, and McTominay's always great against Leeds.
It is, yeah.
It's just one good performance a season, isn't it, really?
Fred scored against us last time.
Fred's been good in recent weeks, but Fred's been playing more advanced in front of Casemiro.
Okay. Which
is probably the role Sabitzer will play if he comes in.
Yeah.
And I can honestly see Ten Hag moving the midfield and putting Fernandes out on the right wing.
Okay.
At the expense of Anthony, unfortunately, who's also been decent in recent weeks.
Yeah.
And then moving maybe even Kobe Mainu, who's a youth player coming through, putting him in midfield next to Fred and Sabitzer, just to solidify it a bit, because Fernandes doesn't do too much defensive work. He was good on Saturday with his pressing, but apart from that, he's not getting stuck in the midfield. He's not fantastic at tackling. He often fouls.
Well, I guess the thing with Man United as well now is, obviously it's going to be at Ellen Road, which is a massive beneficiary to Leeds United, but here in particular, they're just winning games all the time now, aren't they? They're getting the old Sir Alex Ferguson thing back, where it was just win at all costs. You don't have to play well, just win a game, and that's what Leeds are missing at the minute. It's just winning games. It's just, trying to break the losing habit, and Man United at the minute, I mean, how many have they won on the bounce? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, this would be the chance to be 14 in a row at Old Trafford.
That's the thing about Manchester United at the minute. Here, obviously, racking up wins, but in general, the form is that good that it's going to be a problem because winning breeds confidence, doesn't it? Yeah, and I think that's the thing at the minute. Leeds have got to contend with not only the player quality but the mentality improvement at Man United.
Yeah, I mean the double header as well.
Yeah,
6 points basically.
Yeah.
If you win the first one, you go into the second one with so much more confidence than if you lose that first one. So if
is there still a mentality that there's a league title ambition for the Man United?
Not really.
No, not really.
I mean, Arsenal have been doing very well, and City they both dropped off this week, both with poor results.
Yeah.
But they're still
Good
Arsenal look absolutely fantastic. And the problem with Man United at the moment is that they just don't score too many goals. Even on Saturday against Palace, they looked on the back foot for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
After Casemiro's red card, it was very high pressure from Palace, and they nearly got back into it. They scored, obviously, and then it was only 2-1. So that game could have been lost. Like the 2 points could have been lost, like they were last time against Palace.
So is this?
So I don't think there's a title-winning mentality anymore. But
do you think this Man United team now have the correct mentality, as we've just spoken about, to be able to deal with any sort of pressure?
Yeah, I mean they should do. They haven't lost to Leeds in the Premier League since 2002. For context, I was 3 years old last time Man United lost.
The guy was 20. That's how old I am.
So I don't think the mentality is as big an issue.
Yeah.
I don't think the big rivalry is as big an issue for Man United as it is for Leeds. And obviously Man United have a lot more rivalries in the Premier League.
They do. Well, and I guess this season as well, they've beaten Liverpool, haven't they? They've beaten City, they've beaten Arsenal, so the occasion doesn't seem to get to them. But I mean, this is do or die on another topic for Jesse Marsch. I mean, he's got a week now for me to save his job. He should have been gone months ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, Chris Armas is now the assistant manager. Obviously, was part of the coaching staff at Man United. He's now the assistant manager. He's coming to help Jesse, but this is do or die for him. So I mean, he's really got to get this right. I mean, does that add more pressure onto Leeds? Probably more pressure than there is against Man United. But you'd hope that there's going to be an elevation of performance. But you know, Leeds were good yesterday. They were good. They were good against Villa, but they just can't seem to stop the bleed, the flow of goals conceded. And against Rashford's the problem for me. I mean, you know, if we're doing a spotlight player focus, he's the problem.
He's been Man United's best player. Other than Casemiro, he's been Man United's best player all season.
What do you think it is? Just Ten Hag? Or?
It's just, well, we knew he was great.
Yeah.
He's always, if he's on form, he's fantastic. He scores goals.
Yeah.
That's always, he's so direct, so fast, and he just causes issues whether he's on the left or through the centre. And he started on the left on Saturday and then moved into the centre. He was really dangerous when he moved up front, which is just another option for Ten Hag in that attack. Sort of Weghorst, he's all right. He's done all right since he came in, but he was thrown in at the deep end. He should really have a rest this weekend.
Yeah.
And if Martial's still not fit, which he missed Saturday, again, because he just can't stay fit to save his life. But if Rashford's, it's not the end of the world if Rashford has to move in the middle, basically.
No, I think Weghorst, I think Leeds will be okay with that.
Yeah.
I feel like the big man up front, obviously Wednesday night, I feel Maximilian Verber, this new centre-back that we've had come in, he's dealt with a few, you know, a big target men so far for Leeds. He's not played that many games, but I think Weghorst would be okay with.
Yeah.
I think Rashford, you mix up that front three a little bit, maybe even like you've just said, put him up front and you know, Man United build from the back now as well, don't they? So it's not just hitting the big man. So maybe it would be more advantageous for Leeds, you playing Weghorst, but then again, when he's played so far at Forest away in particular, link-up play.
Yeah, that's the thing with Weghorst. He looks like he should be traditional target man striker, but he's really nifty on the ball. It's not like Lukaku where you sort of know what you're going to get with a direct run, and he plays a lot more dropping into midfield. I wouldn't say like Harry Kane, because obviously he's not on the same quality as Harry Kane, but he does drop into that midfield, and you know, watching the games, you see him take up positions that Bruno would have took up a couple of years ago when Bruno had that really good season.
Well, I guess like you said, if Weghorst is dropping back, it almost enables the two other wingers to be inverted and bottom on, doesn't it?
And with Anthony and Rashford in such flying form, and Anthony's really picked up in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Those two options in behind, getting inside the fullbacks on their stronger feet, with Weghorst dropping into the middle, and then Bruno Fernandes even making runs from midfield. It's been really good in recent weeks.
And as well, something to talk about when we're referencing Leeds United in this game. Very, very poor when it comes to the full-back regions. Leeds haven't got it sorted out yet. We're exposed again against Nottingham Forest, and it's a huge issue for us right now. The back line is a big, big problem. He's not sorted out. He doesn't know. I mean, Jesse Marsch is still talking a year down the line about the players not understanding and paraphrasing, but not understanding his identity, his ideas. Liam, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, coming in a year. I mean,
a lot of your signings have played under him before.
Yeah.
Red Bull Salzburg.
All are American.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So there shouldn't be that big a gap between managers' ideals and what the players are capable of. He's brought them in for a reason. Your right back used to play for Salzburg.
Yeah, Salzburg Christensen. Yeah.
And has he not been?
Aronson
has he not been good? Aronson's been okay.
He's been okay.
He's young.
He's dropped off.
Yeah.
It's just got to a point now where and I think Man United have. I mean, I've had this with plenty of managers where it gets to a point where the players. A manager can talk. You know, we heard it with Mourinho, didn't we? Can talk. But if they're not backing it up, if there's no ideals, if there's no ethos, philosophy, if the players aren't understanding what you're saying, it's redundant. It means nothing. And we're at that point right now with Leeds where it's redundant. What you're saying in the press is fine, but if we're not seeing the evidence on the pitch, it looks pointless. And we've seen that with Man United, with so many managers. Got it right now with Ten Hag, but there has to be a change at some point. But I don't know if this is going to spark the players into life playing Man United. Yeah. It's got to do, and if it doesn't, he's got to go.
He's got to go.
Got to go.
100%. See, that's the thing about Ten Hag. He's so solid right now.
Yeah.
I'd say he's even possibly the most solid job in the Premier League right now.
Oh yeah.
Maybe Arteta, but apart from that, Klopp's under pressure. And last season you would have said Klopp, he's out away and above. He's never leaving. But now Klopp's getting under pressure. Ten Hag's not getting any of that pressure. Everyone seems to believe in him. The whole players seem to play for him rather than playing for themselves, which was a big issue of last year. And obviously Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't happy with it, so left and now plays in Saudi Arabia. But that was a sort of playing for yourself mentality. Whereas now the team are playing as a team.
Yeah.
And it's really positive for Manchester United, yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about the rivalry as a separate point as well, I think this is it's a huge game, and I've got many mates Man United fans, including yourself, and from a Leeds perspective, the War of the Roses, this is a battle, you cradle to grave as you grow up as a Leeds fan. You're born, you support Leeds United. What's the first thing you do? You hate Manchester United. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number one, okay? So this means a lot to Leeds fans. So it's going to be so interesting to see the atmosphere, how the players are stoked up for it. But from a Man United perspective as well, we hear about Man United, they'll be in the Champions League games, they'll still sing about Leeds, little old Leeds. So it definitely is something that is going to stoke a reaction from the Man United fans, the Leeds fans. So it really is brewing into a perfect concoction of a game for me.
Exactly. It should be fascinating.
Yep.
I mean, who's your danger man at Leeds? Who would be the man who's going to cause Man United the most issues?
I mean, as I said, we brought in, 3 or 4 new players, and we've got a lot of talent going up front. But Wilfried Gnonto, brought from the Swiss League. Gary Neville was going on about him, and we're like, Gary, relax, mate. We want to keep hold of this guy for a little bit. But he's talking him up. He could be part of the Man City set. Oh, why don't Man United look at him? Relax, I'm sick of this, and just keep him at Leeds. Keep him there, it's fine. Can play well for us. However, he's the danger man. Leeds seem to be funneling the ball to him consistently. Can play on the left, can play on the right. Very low centre of gravity, very quick, nippy. The problem is we're funneling so much of the play to him now that it was becoming predictable. The tactic is to give him the ball, and you naturally do that with your best players, but it's almost a replica of Rafinha.
Yeah.
It was at Leeds, and we played the ball to him consistently. Need to move it a little bit, but I think it's a little bit of an unknown quantity, and that can cause Man United a few problems, I think.
Especially because he's a left winger, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Diogo Dalot has returned to training. The Manchester Evening News broke that story.
Yeah.
But Aaron Wan-Bissaka's probably still going to start. It sort of picks itself for the defence, and there's still got to be questions asked of Aaron Wan-Bissaka's sort of defensive capabilities and definitely his attacking capabilities.
Forward, yeah.
Luke Shaw on the other side is better at attacking than he is at defending.
Yeah.
But Wan-Bissaka, Gnonto could cause him some issues.
Yeah. Definitely will cause him problems, I think. Yeah, and Like I say, going for Sinistera is another one. Obviously, we brought him for the Dutch league. Extremely talented player. Bamford's coming back into him. Oh my goodness! I'm not sure we talk about Patrick Bamford and you know, him getting back to that, you know, level that he was at when he scored 17 Premier League goals in his first season. But I mean, he was even coming out of the weekend and he was saying, I don't really understand why I'm against two centre backs. I need help. And it's like, oh my goodness, if a player's coming out and almost saying that there's problems here,
saying there's problems, not even with them, saying there's problems with the manager there.
There's a link with the Ralph Rangnick style of play as well, because Jesse Marsch has come from that, you know, of that school of learning, as has Chris Armes, who was formerly of Manchester United. So, you know, Man United fans have seen this before. It's the narrow, compact, compressed style of football, which, you know, that, I mean, Ralph Harsson, who famously played it for Southampton, but it didn't work. They were on more the end of more batterings than successful wins and stuff. So that's a definite problem. But yeah, I mean, for Man United in this game, I think out wide is if they play expansively, if they, you know, win their 1v1 battles going forward, which I think is a big likelihood. I think Leeds will. I mean, who would you say for this one is your sort of danger man? We've mentioned Willian Onso and a few others.
I mean, it has to be Rashford. He was so good on the left wing in the early days of Ten Hag, and now he's sort of moving central. He's causing all the issues down that left still, and moving central and sort of supporting the striker, getting the goals, beating his man. He's informed.
He's probably the most informed player in Europe now, isn't it?
But then I'd also say Man United's defence in recent weeks has been fantastic.
Well,
I mean, holding out against Palace with no defensive midfielder. You've got Fred, and that was it basically. And then you've got Shaw, Martinez, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, and they're just holding out. Solid line, barely any shots really. Lots of possession for Palace, but not many real opportunities. So that's sort of, even if you do create loads of chances, I don't think those chances will be good enough to be winning the game, sort of.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And the problem we're facing now is composure in front of goal. And you saw with Man United, when Casemiro was sent off, maybe an old Man United would have conceded the second. Yeah, they conceded the first one, but they held out, they were resolute. I think Ten Hag was happy about that as well. Huge problem. But you always hold faith that maybe, just maybe, at Ellen Road on Wednesday night with the new signings all up for it, maybe Jesse Marsch's last game, we're going to give one hurrah for him. But I mean, what are you? Give us a score prediction. Let's do it. Let's put our heads on the chopping block. Also in the comment section below, make sure you guys are putting the score predictions in. Let's not go too heavily Manchester United, but go on.
I honestly can see an absolute battering.
Okay.
But I don't think it'll be as bad as it was under Bielsa.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember the exact scores under Bielsa.
5-1 and 0-0 at home though.
0-0 at home. Well, yeah.
Who knows?
Bielsa was also a better manager than Jesse Marsch is.
Nailed.
So I would say 3-0 Manchester United.
Yeah.
If not 4.
Yeah, I could see something very similar. But because I'm here.
Yeah. Go on.
I'm on Manchester United YouTube channel. I'm gonna have to go and try and be positive. It's not like me. I'll have Leeds fans potentially even on this laughing at me as well. But I'm gonna go with I'm not gonna say. I can't say what it's gonna be 2-1. Even if I'm positive, Man United.
You can't possibly stretch to a Leeds draw. Not even.
Yeah, all right, I'll go the draw. I'll go 1-1. Yeah, we'll go 1-1. Yeah, positive. Last minute equaliser would do as well. But yeah, mate. That's what I think, to be honest. And I guess we should encourage these guys to get in the comment section below.
Yeah, I mean, make sure like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Manchester Evening News for any more build up. The Manchester Red podcast for a little bit more expert analysis. See you next time.
Cheers, guys.